Hi there, Coach Denyce Gartrell again with part 2 of What a Woman Needs. Again, this is in response to an email that I received regarding a female who wanted me to do more about how can we get across to our spouses what our needs are. In the very first part, I talked a little bit about communication. Not only do we need communication because we are expressionists, but we also want to know how to communicate so that our husbands will listen and feel free and safe to communicate back to us. Now, the one thing that I want to say also about communication in part 2 of this is that when we have been, as women, conditioned that when men do share themselves with us, we always say that we want a man to be more emotional. We say that we want to see more emotions. We want him to share himself and be more open with us. Or we want to, know what he's feeling. He won't talk to me. That's a complaint that I get all the time. He won't talk to me. I don't know what he's feeling. I don't know what he's thinking. Well, ladies, let me just say this. Although we want our men to communicate with us, communication has been something that men are not accustomed to. It can be very foreign to them. In fact, society has conditioned men to believe that communication means vulnerability. It means self-disclosure. And a lot of times when you self-disclose yourself, that means that the person who you are speaking to can use whatever you're telling them against you. And many times when a woman goes to a man and she says, well, honey, I want to talk, the man feels like, okay, well, here we go. Here comes the test, and I'm going to fail. And as I spoke in part 1, women have an advantage when it comes to language due to the way that our brains are made. And men know that. They know that. So men feel at a disadvantage anyway when it comes to communication. So we really have to take some responsibility in how we approach a man as well if we want them to communicate with us. Now, I say this also, that when men have been conditioned not to speak so much or not to express themselves, not to show emotion, but that same society that conditioned the man to do so has also conditioned the woman. So the same woman who says, I want my man to speak to me, I want to see him cry, I want him to show more emotions, you must ask yourself, if your husband did show his emotions, how would you respond? How would you respond to it? Would you see him as soft? Would you see a man as gay? Would you see him as being less than a man if he were to express himself to you more? Because that same society that has conditioned him has conditioned women also. So the thing that we ask for, we've got to know how to respond to it when it does occur or when we see it. The very thing that a mistake, I will say, that I have seen, when a man does come to a woman and he begins to talk to you openly and honestly, usually it's because he feels that you are a safe haven. You are a place that you're that place that he can come and be free to express himself, to be away from the world. A lot of times men feel pressure to have this S on their chest. They feel pressure in the external world, in the outside world, to be a certain way, when they come home to their spouse, to their wife, and you're that safe haven where they can just be themselves, my darling, you have a gold mine. You have an opportunity to build and to create the best relationship that you could have ever had in your life. The one thing that you don't want to do as a woman is mess that up. And when it comes to communication, when a man does come to you and he does begin to talk to you and express what he is thinking and feeling, the worst thing that a woman can do is to respond negatively or in a way that will make him shut down, where he would never come to you and talk to you again and open himself again to you. Words such as, "I told you so," or "if you would have only listened to me," or "I knew that that would happen." If you don't know what to say, ladies, kind of bite your tongue. I always tell people, just lightly, bite your tongue on the inside and smile. Be pretty and smile. But don't say anything at all. If you don't know how to respond to him when he is expressing himself, don't say anything at all. Just listen. Be that listening ear. Be that safe haven. And he will feel more and more comfortable. He will eventually let down his guards once he realizes that you are his shelter from the storm. If he feels that there is a crisis in his life, and when he talks to you, you're not going to get that information that he has divulged to you and use it against him, he will automatically allow you more and more into his heart. You see, when you become that man's best friend in a relationship, you're that go-to person. You don't have any contenders, my dear, because you are his shelter from all of the hell that he catches on a daily basis in the outside world. Can't wait to get home to you. And allow yourself to just be that calm, peaceful place that he can rest, where he can take off his S, that Superman S, off of his chest, where he can lay his head in your lap and just be. Just be. He doesn't feel pressured to, be a certain type of man and to be, who society has dictated or deemed him to be. And usually when a man is his own man, he doesn't feel that anyway. He's going to be who he knows himself to be. But there is a lot of pressure in the outside world. If you're that woman who is fun, exciting, supportive, that's what a man needs. And what a woman needs is a man to be that connection to her. I will say that in this video. The way he opens himself to you, if you need a man to open himself to you, then this is the lady that you want to be. And it will automatically happen because he'll feel safe. And he'll let down his guard because of the woman that you are. You see, many times we want to make a man into what we want to make him into. And we want to do that proactively. But I want to say this to you. Just being a certain type of woman will automatically, over a period of time, he will feel safe. And he'll begin to disclose himself to you more and more and more. So it's important to understand how you receive that information. It's going to determine where your relationship goes from that point on. So, emotional intimacy is something that you desire, but you become more intertwined as both of you begin to self-disclose. And that is what builds the rapport and the bond in your relationship. Stay tuned for part 3, where I'll talk a little bit more about total oneness. Take care.